A terrible financial decision Aussies are making. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your hashtag not sponsored cheap mineral water, and let's have a look at this article written by Jason Murphy, because it's about a terrible financial decision Aussies are making, a really bad one. And well, it'll be interesting to see his take on this particular topic. Now, the stark reality facing working Aussies are on full display in this new report, and it makes for grim reading. Bum, bum, bum. The one thing that jumped out when I skimmed this article was the cost of having children. Now, if you're not aware, I'm a father of 7, and, kids are not that expensive. We're in the homeschooling community, and many people in that community will have one of the partners, usually the mother, and it's usually families with traditional gender roles where the father is earning the money. And so you're essentially sacrificing decent income to do this, to raise your own kids and spend your own time with them. They don't cost that much. In some regards, homeschooling is a lot cheaper, to be honest. Just don't spoil them, guys. It's really simple. Don't spoil them. I think the biggest cost is food. I mean, clothing is dirt cheap now. Toys are dirt cheap now. It's not. The biggest cost is probably, everyone's going to say childcare, but all the extracurricular things that kids do. The sports and the swimming and the dancing and the acting classes and the piano lessons. That'd all add up as well. And, we try and limit it 1 per kid, or we do bulk deals. They actually had to change the deal at the dance school because we had so many kids doing it. And I think we're at a point now we've got 4 doing swimming, or maybe only 3. When the next few jump up, everyone after 4 is free. So there you go. Having kids is a terrible financial decision. Is it a financial decision? I mean, that's the problem. People are afraid of having kids. I know when Rachel first told me she was pregnant, I was terrified, and I swore and told her, okay, I've got to get more work. And she said, no, we're doing this again. And she left the room and told me I had to be nice. But sure, it's a scary thing. You hear in the media how expensive kids are, how much they cost. And I guess if you just follow along with the mainstream, normie way of living your life, yeah, it's going to add up. You're going to send them to kindergarten, and that's a crock of shit with how much that costs, to be brutally honest. It's complete bullshit. We sent Mina to kindergarten because it was right near our office. We were paying more for that than I was paying for HEX fees for a subject back in the day at university, so they can do clappity-clap and then still get the parents to come and mow the bloody lawn. Anyway, going off topic again. So it's a terrible decision if you're a woman. I'm sure, this is why there's a gender earnings gap. This is why women leave their professional careers and start other things. Or this is why they scale back on their hours, because frankly, having a kid is bloody awesome. And sure, they can be annoying, but you can be annoying too as a parent. And it kind of reframes what's important in life. Getting that agenda or that presentation done for your boss for some bullshit project that no one cares about maybe isn't as important anymore as it used to be. The fantasy of working for a big international brand and the reputation and the bragging rights. You don't give a shit about that anymore. You've grown out of it. So say authors from the Treasury in a new paper. They find women who have kids see their earnings drop by up to 50% and barely recover, compared to women who don't have kids. As the next chart shows, men who have kids see their earnings fall a tiny bit too. Yeah, that's life. Okay, men without children, it's shooting up there. Men with children, it's there. Effective. And, okay, women without children, okay, the dotted line, they're going up there. And with children, it crashes, and then it slowly goes up. Years into parenthood. Now, this is where, well, I'd blame our taxation system. Where you can have a couple where They are better off. They're better off if both of them are working, the mum and dad each earning 100 grand, than just the dad earning 200 grand. And sure, you can get family tax benefit, but that disappears once you earn decent money. And we need to go back to the system where it's taxed on a family unit, where it's just split up per family member. So for every adult, cut it in half. Cut it in half. But they don't want to do that, do they? They want to keep the women working. They want to get them in the workforce because that generates more tax revenue, keeps more money flowing through the economy, and it creates less conservative women. And then you've got a whole other sector that wants people to put their kids in childcare and wants the state to raise them. And you've got to focus on your career. How many people have a career, and how many people actually have a job? I mean, there's some reflection. It's what you're doing in your career. I mean, how many of these people have these bullshit jobs? They're just paper-pushing jobs that don't do anything. Anyway. So, of course, women's earnings is going to crash because, well, you'd want them to be able to spend time with their kids, particularly in these early formative years. These first few years right here. You want them. We should have a society where we're encouraging mothers to breastfeed if they can. Breast is best, guys. Nothing wrong with formula. And if you can't do it, don't feel shamed. But if you can, fantastic. Lift our IQ in this country. Here we go. I'm in years into parenthood. Yep. I mean, okay. Who cares? If you're a family, my perspective is different. If you're a family, all your money goes into one pot. You should only have one bank account or one shared bank account. Husbands and wives shouldn't be hiding it from each other. And I know it's a contentious issue, and some people do. But if you're a couple and you're married, that's it. If you have kids, it all goes out the window. Your prenups, everything, it's just all worthless. It's a joke. It should all go in the one thing. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if dad's earning significantly more. Well, actually it does. It means, dad, you got to make sure you got life insurance. So if you drop the bucket, the family's going to keep running without you. Or at least until mum can step up again. That's the Dave Ramsey advice. That's the only difference. Everything else should be done together as a couple. But anyway, that's my boomer mode, isn't it? The paper presented to a conference of economists this month in Sydney says the arrival of children has a large and persistent impact on the gender earnings gap. I like it. See, they're using the correct language here. It is an earnings gap, not a pay gap, an earnings gap. That's different. Now, this drop, we could say fantastic. These mothers are getting to spend time with their kids. And they go, it's only money. Money is not the source of happiness. Okay? I was talking to our engineer the other day, where he's, not chasing the big money anymore. I mean, he's been working himself ragged like I have over the last few weeks, hence the low number of videos. But you only need a certain amount of coin to keep yourself in comfort and reduce the stress from money. And then everything else, the higher it gets, it doesn't matter. Or does it create more stress? And maybe sacrificing some money for the family and being able to raise your own children, getting those memories, because these early years, they go so bloody fast. Okay? They go so fast. Who gives a shit about a bit extra in super or some money that they're going to tax out of you anyway to spend on some bullshit garbage? Wouldn't you rather spend the first 5 years with your kid? Women make less than men for a range of reasons, but most of those reasons, discrimination, lower rates of female education, are improving. Are these the majority of reasons? Discrimination and lower education? Okay, we'll have to see. That seems like a real boomer take. I'd like to look into that, if that's still the real reason. I think that's a previous generation thing, honestly. These days, the big haul punch in females' career at childbearing age is the biggest single reason why women earn it. Okay, no. So these are not most of the reasons. This is the biggest single reason. Having kids. Okay, discrimination, that's a boomer thing. Previous generations. I remember talking to Gen Xers and that they were pushing for women in equality leadership roles or in construction, running all these organizations and things they were so proud of. And I'm going, our generation doesn't give a shit about that. It's not a thing. It doesn't really matter anymore. It's only old people that think like that. So the oldies are pushing in all these quotas thinking they're doing something, when the reason you've got these differences is because, well, maybe women want to have kids and then going, you know what, to hell with this shitty career, to hell with being a lawyer working insane hours and not spending time with my family, stuff that. And why do you think the dads stay in? Because you've got to. You've got to provide for your family. And many fathers will happily make that sacrifice and put up with this shit so their family can be provided for. So it is the mum who needs to give birth and do breastfeeding. Usually the mum takes a few months off work and may do a few years of working part-time. The family often has another kid shortly after. After that, mum will be even further behind in their career. Then if one parent still needs to work less, it makes financial sense for it to be the same mum. It's a path. It's a path of dependency that leaves women in a position of less economic power. Yeah, if you're in a dysfunctional relationship, sure, it leaves you in a position of less economic power. If you're in a normal, healthy relationship in a married couple, raising a family together, your perspective should be you're a team. You've come together to take on the world, and you're building your family up. It doesn't matter where the money comes from. It doesn't matter who's doing what. These are roles you've suited for, and you've got to step up and do them. And you work together. Less economic power. What bullshit? Do the people writing this not have wives? I mean, come on. Is it a feature or a bug? In a perfect world, money doesn't matter. And reducing work to stay home with the kids is a choice that women make, not only with confidence, but with joy in their hearts. Yes, you'll find that's sadly, that's becoming more and more of a luxury. I think housing is a lot to blame for that. But it's not a perfect world. Money matters. Women's reduced earning makes them less independent. It's hard to have power in a relationship or leave a relationship when you've lost your earnings power. Oh, that's... sure. Yeah, okay. Women also have less for retirement. Yes, they've got their husband's retirement. So when we die earlier, then they get all our super that's left over. Okay? This is the problem. Our entire system is set up not based on the family unit. The basis should not be on individual economic units. Male, female, person 1, person 2, person 3. It should be based on the family unit. The family should be the basis of our civilization. And that should be reflected in all of these things. There needs to be more incentives for people to stay together. Women have less in their soup. Yeah, well, yep, that's true. My wife is like that too. We've got different supers. The career gap also means women fill fewer powerful roles in society. A big reason there's fewer women surgeons and CEOs is women's careers get stalled by having kids. Or, some of these careers are utterly insane, and you've got to be a bloody full-on nutter to make it there. Particularly CEOs. I guess not anymore, not with DEI. This is saying you can't be what you can't see. Oh, come on. That's bullshit. There's boomer thinking, mate. What's Jason saying? The number of women I've met who are working up on boards and corporate roles, those type of things. If women are underrepresented in those leadership roles, it leaves girls looking at a world where the bosses are mostly men. Well, they're also underrepresented in other roles. How many of them are plumbers? How many of them are tradies? How many of them are working on mines and oil rigs? We're different. Men and women are different. Come on. That can be corrosive for both boys and girls' beliefs about what people are capable of. Okay, the policy landscape makes it harder for women to keep working, but easy for men. Maternity leave is available, but paternity leave is hard to get. In parts of Europe, the parents choose who gets the paternity leave, not usually so in Australia. Yeah, haven't they changed that? I think they're changing it here in Australia. You can get more leave. Or you get I think dads get like 2 weeks or something. Having kids is very expensive. Have you seen the cost of housing? Australia not having enough to sustain the population at current levels. However, Australian birth rates are not so low by international standards. Compared to a lot of other countries, we're still having kids. And Australian birth rates are not falling too quickly, while the pandemic caused a big dip in births. See, I got that one wrong. I thought everyone would be at home having sex and having kids. I thought you'd be having pandemic babies. What were you all doing? Everyone's watching YouTube instead of getting it on. Come on. Birth rates are 1.7 births per woman on average. This is below replacement level. We need to be at 2.1. Is this at civilization collapse level? 1.7, is that there? Are we that low yet? I can't remember anymore. This is why, this number here, this is why immigration is never going to decrease in Australia, guys. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So, there you go. Oh boy, look at all these countries here. European Union down here. This is why they're opening the borders in Europe, everyone. That's the reason right there. Okay? It's not a conspiracy theory. It's mathematics. The solution. It's hard to encourage births and encourage women to work at the same time. Kids and work are not easy to reconcile. The best solution is probably oh, no. Why is it a problem? Why is it a problem? One policy is, if you want to encourage couples to have families, to increase the birth rate, give couples a interest-free loan, young couples when they get married. You know, $500,000. And then for every child they have, you take 25% of that off. And it can go towards buying a house. So once they get 4, debt's gone. What do you reckon? That'll make it easy. You'll have more mums staying at home. You'll have people raising their kids. We won't have the tax burden of all the extra childcare. We'll increase our birth rates. You'll have a greater natural population growth. You'll have less of the challenges of culture shock with foreign immigration. What do you reckon? A new baby bonus is not a great idea. It would encourage births but might discourage work. A better idea may be a superannuation top-up for women when they have a kid. That's not cash they have access to now and so won't discourage work. Well, do you want them to work? I mean, if you reduce female... Well, here's the thing. He's looking at it from an individual perspective, where I'm looking at it from a family perspective. If you want the family... If you look at the economy from the family unit perspective, you want a mother and father, not most of the time, and one parent being able to stay at home and dedicate their time, energy, and love to raise their children, particularly in those formative years, in the first 7 years, is invaluable. It's going to lead to a much better society. And okay, then you'll have less female participation in the workforce. Isn't the RBA pushing for wage increases? And then if that money is just going back to the family unit, isn't that a better thing? So this is the fundamental difference here in perspectives. I'm thinking this is a family man and a father and a wife who is primarily at home, but we do it differently. We work from home too, so she works as well. But it's just a different way of looking at it, isn't it? The motherhood penalty is definitely too large, or whatever we do to reduce it, we should. The Treasury often suggests childcare and paternity leave as the biggest priorities. Australia can learn from the experience of other countries, which has reduced the cost of childcare and increased paternal take-up of parental leave. Yeah. Okay. Both measures may help to increase fathers' involvement in family life and improve mothers' labour force participation, helping to reduce the motherhood penalty in the long run. Let's talk about this one, because I don't like how he's framing it. So the motherhood penalty. I mean, I'm all for increased participation of dads, raising their kids. That's normal, and I think it's happening much more now than it was in the past. But the motherhood penalty, this is fundamentally, it comes down to how you view the basis of our society and economy. I have a very old-fashioned view where it should be measured from a family unit. The goal of all good people in our society should be to establish, find a good partner and establish a family and build up a family for the continued prosperity of your family and the nation and people as a whole. Not individual hedonistic adventures and increasing your economic engagement so the government can draw more resources out of you to fund their bullshit programs. Maybe I'm just out of date. Why don't we look at what Hungary does? Other countries there. Maybe there should be more recognition of the valuable contribution that mothers make to raising their kids and how important that is for a society going forward. We're at 1.7 births. We're not at replacement rate. That birth rate needs to go up. That's the hard facts of it. What do you reckon, guys? Let me know your take on this. Am I just an old boomer? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. You know what to do to support the channel. I'm going to build a computer tonight. I'll premiere this tonight. I'll build a computer tonight for Edward, our little boy who's got Down syndrome, because how we've got it set up in the rental, we've got wall-to-wall banks of computers in the living room. So for kids to do their schoolwork, so they each have their own one. It's all desktops. Because with no computers in the bedroom, we need to be able to see what everyone's doing. And I like to play games, so we'll play games with the kids together. And Edward has actually developed quite significant computer skills already. And he's got some very good, mouse control and dexterity there. So I've got to build him a dedicated machine now because he's jumping on all our laptops and everything. Anyway, take care, guys. I'll see you in the chat. Bye for now.